At the sound of the bell, come on out and handle your business. Let's go.
Is this Fedor's farewell tour? Michael Venom Page, is it his time to be Bellator's MVP? AJ Mckee continues his quest to become the featherweight division's $1 million champ. Chris Cyborg attempted to become the first in MMA history to win every major world title. Was she successful? And finally, one of the best wrestlers in the sport, Ed Ruth, looks to put an end to Yaroslav Amosov's undefeated streak when they throw down at Bellator 239. We'll tackle this and much, much more as Bellator MMA presents The Dose. Hi everybody, welcome to Bellator MMA's The Dose. Jay Glazer, along with the Insider's Insider, Robin Black. And hey Robin, let's kick it right off here with Bellator 239. Ed Ruth, who a lot thought was gonna roll through the welterweight Grand Prix. He goes against the undefeated Yaroslav Amosov. Look, Ed Ruth is a guy who has all the wrestling tools in the world, but for some reason he doesn't use them. Do you think he'll actually get back to really what made him so successful in college and what could make him so dominant here?
The thing is, Jay, it's his mindset. His mindset is one of a wrestler, but he likes to express himself freely with his hands and his feet. It's hard to talk these guys out of that game once they get in there and they get that taste for it.
I like how you said that, express himself freely. It's not a Hallmark card. We're in a cage here,
yeah, but
right?
This is an art form as much as it's an athletic endeavor, and this guy goes out there to paint a picture of violence. And he is a really, really exciting fighter to watch. And yes, of course, it might be easier for him to single or double, take a guy down, put elbows on him, but he likes to move, he likes to kick, he likes to punch, and he likes that conflict.
Amosov, he's a guy, again, 22-0, never been defeated. He's probably the quietest 22-0 fighter out there. Why?
Because they're crazy. This guy is a special martial artist, and he's a problem solver. So he figures out what the other man does and finds the route of least resistance to defeat them. That's what he'll look to do against Ed Ruth, especially if Ed wants to stay out in the open field and fight. This guy will look to kick his legs, punch him, jab him, pick him apart.
If he's able to dismantle Ed Ruth, just put him on the map.
What would that be? 23-0, 90-0? Like, what's it going to take? This is a very, very, very special combat artist. They're not talking about him now. They'll all be talking about him if he beats Ed Ruth.
We already should have been talking about him because of his last
right.
couple wins here. And look, our co-main event here is Brandon Gertz against Miles Jury. And if you're a fight fan, the matchup has really got to make you say, oh, I've got to see that fight.
That's right. Sometimes it's the dynamic between the two martial artists in there. You know, Miles Jury, when we were talking about him coming up, he was that hybrid fighter. Good on his feet, good on his back, able to put it all together and color outside the lines a little bit. But he is on a losing streak right now, and this is going to be a really important one for him.
I'm really excited to see Amosov against Ed Ruth. There's just so many different ways that fight can go. That is coming up your way here, Bellator 239. We have one of our greatest warriors in Bellator on the roster defend her title again, Alimale McFarland against Kate Jackson. I think for Alimale, this fight really helped her kind of grow, and she learned a little bit about herself that night.
100%, my friend. Can you imagine having to deal with 25 minutes of Alimale? She's weaponizing her energy system. She's weaponizing aggression as a tool to wear her opponent out and make the fight easier as it goes on. That's what she did in this fight.
Here she is in her home state. She seemed to feed off the energy.
I talked to her about that walkout. She says she treats them as sacred moments. These are special moments that she gets to experience with every piece of her history. And this is a very special fighter. Never lost. She never lost in Bellator. She never lost as a pro. Never lost as an amateur. Never lost in Jiu-Jitsu. She has not learned how to surrender.
Things like that are what makes this sport so beautiful. Now, we go from one star to another. AJ Mckee there defeated Derek Campos to move on in our featherweight World Grand Prix. And AJ Mckee, is he the best fighter on Bellator's roster?
He could be all time.
I know.
He really could. Now, there's a long way to go yet. You got to stay uninjured. And you got to keep evolving. You can't get too full of yourself. But right this minute, this guy looks unstoppable.
Yeah. What he also does is he starts coming up with these creative strikes standing up. It's hard to spar and get ready for a guy like AJ.
Impossible. You just have to innovate and improvise as the fight goes on, because that's what AJ is doing. And that finish, man, that was just chaos, mayhem. But chaos is really just patterns you don't yet understand. AJ understands those patterns, and he found the way to attack that armbar. That was a sick submission.
He's realizing now how to be a pro athlete, the training, the nutrition part of it, the sleep part of it.
He's trying to find other ways to improve his mindset, improve his focus. Yeah, man, he is the present and he's the future.
Thank you, Hawaii!
Hey, we have more on the featherweight Grand Prix coming your way. Let's turn now to a legend. The last emperor, Fedor Emelianenko. He defeated Rampage Jackson over there in Japan. A lot of these legends in the sport passes them by, and not Fedor. Why is he able to keep going?
Birds fly, fish swim, and Fedor Emelianenko fights men in cages. You know, he's never been the most athletic guy, so he doesn't have to rely on that. The little hack that he has is sort of a neurological hack, how quickly he sees the ball and swings the bat, and that is incredibly hard to deal with. He's a true legend. People love him.
Well, I'll tell you what else is hard to deal with, and that's Michael Venom Page's style. I think MVP is one of the most dynamic guys in the sport because how do you train for the guy? How do you simulate him?
You don't. And he also tries to manipulate your emotions. We see him do that to the opponent. The opponent gets stressed out and rushes in or hesitates, both of which are bad against Mike, but he also has done it to referees, where referees start freaking out. He's done it to the audience. He's playing a game of emotional manipulation. That's what he uses against his opponents, and that's what he uses against you. That's why you don't like Michael Venom Page, because he's messed with the opponent, he's messed with the game, and it messes with your mind.
Well, I think he should be in line for a title shot against a Douglas Lima rematch. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, he wants that, no question about it. But there's another guy in Lorenz Larkin, and he might be the guy to beat Mike at his own game.
Well, look, we actually opened it up to our fans out there in Bellator on Twitter poll to see who they think should be next in line for Douglas Lima's title. And this is what you guys decided. It is Michael Venom Page, 58.2% of you guys. Lorenz Larkin, 41.8%.
Jay, I was told there would be no math, first of all, before we got here. But, so 52% of people want to see Mike fight. 2/3 of those people want to see him get knocked out again.
Yep.
That's his game. He gets people lit, he gets people excited. People don't believe he's that good. Listen, this is what I do for a living. Trust me, Michael Venom Page is a unique martial artist.
MVP, could he be next in line? We're going to shift gears now and go into Bellator 238. What better way to headline this card than two absolute gangsters in Julia Budd and the great Chris Cyborg Santos. For that, we send it to our own Jen Brown.
Jen Brown here with the new featherweight world champ, Chris Cyborg. Congratulations, an incredible performance. You are the first fighter ever to win a world title in 4 major promotions. I know we talked about it before, but it's here, the belt is there. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot of work, means a lot of people around me support me. God bless me the whole time, the whole way, and always glory to him, and I'm happy back to the form. Fight again, you got my belt back.
Let's talk about that, because you talked about the forum. You said it was a little bittersweet because you had that loss here. So what does it mean to be out here with that crowd, you know, in your Lakers gear, you know, colors, just having everybody behind you, and now having the belt?
Means God take care of you, you know. I feel like that day I lost here as a God plan, because if it never happened, I was now here, Bellator champion. And I'm really happy, this new era for me.
Well said, a new era it is. Let's talk about Julia Budd. She hadn't lost in over 8 years. She hung in there with you. We talked about her physicality, but did that surprise you? I mean, she was standing in there taking the punches from you, which not many women can do.
You know, I always train really hard, I always fight. I knew she was 8 years undefeated, and I know it's gonna be a tough fight. She's champion on time. I always respect all my opponents because I work really hard all the time. And she did amazing. I knew she's strong. You know, I just worked harder, forgot the belt.
You did a great job. Fantastic performance. Can I ask, I mean, you got everybody out here ready to go celebrate. What's in the plans tonight?
I don't know. I had a surprise.
I love it. All right. Congrats, champ. Great job out there.
All right, well, Cyborg makes her debut here for Bellator, and she does what she's used to doing, and that's winning world titles. What makes her so much more dominant than everybody else in the sport?
You know, on the surface, you think it's the physicality. You see she's big and strong and fast. She hits really hard. She harvests energy from the ground out through the knuckles of her fist. But really, it's now her seasoning. And the amount of high-level fights that she's fought. When she gets into the nitty-gritty, those really difficult situations, now she knows what to do. She can swim her way through the fight and find the way to win.
sometimes when you get knocked out, people have a hard time coming back from that. She didn't. She learned from it. She walked right back in there. No problem. She is that kind of gangster.
Hey, listen, you're right. You wake up and the ref says to you, do you know what time it is? And you're like, Las Vegas. You know, like you don't know what's going on. Then you have to reset. Hey, I never thought I was going to get knocked out. I never thought I was going to lose ever again. The best deal with it. They get better. They actualize themselves to their potential and they move on.
Also in that night, we had Darren Caldwell. He defeated Adam Boris. So he has to fight AJ Mckee next. Break that one down.
Yeah, man, the Wolf can beat any guy because he has that game. It's not only the takedowns, and that's what we often talk about. He'll get to your body, he'll take you down, but it's when he times those takedowns. It's always on the and, like a drummer is hitting, and on that little and before he hits the cymbal, that's when he gets in on you. But man, the last guy in the world you want to fight right now is AJ Mckee.
Well, again, he gets to fight AJ Mckee as he moves on in our featherweight World Grand Prix. He also gets to hang out here with our own Jen Brown.
All right, Jen Brown here with Darren Caldwell. Fantastic performance out there, and you called it. You said first round rear naked choke. How did you know that was going to happen like that?
Well, it just comes from day in and day out preparation. Honestly, I am the man in this division. I don't see nobody messing with me in this division. I've always known I'm 7-0 at 145. So as long as I'm able to get my hands on guys like I did tonight, train the way I did this past camp, then ain't nobody messing with me.
You looked great out there. You are going to face AJ Mckee. He's your next opponent in the semis. What do you think about him as your matchup? I know you say that you're the guy in the division, but he is a tough test.
He's undefeated for a reason, but I'm the guy to knock him off. Listen, there's a big difference between me and AJ. You know, it's just different. And when I get my hands on him, you're going to see what's the difference.
Well, Adam tonight was undefeated. You handed him his first loss. He was a little bit emotional there in the cage, and I saw you went over. You had a moment with him. What did you say to him?
Well, I told him he's on the way up. You know, don't let one loss define your career. It's bigger fish to fry than just one night. So I told him keep going.
That's good advice. Hey, it was great seeing you out there. You did a fantastic job. Saw a lot of confidence in you. We love that. Great job tonight.
I appreciate it. On to the next.
All right, let's go back now to our World Featherweight Grand Prix, and we have two quarterfinal matchups coming up here in Mohegan Sun. First, Emanuel Sanchez against Daniel Weichel, and let's talk about this matchup here.
Emanuel Sanchez is a very adaptable guy. He can fight the way he wants to fight, and he can fight the way it takes to beat you. But against Weichel, man, Weichel is really good everywhere, and he's another one of these tenacious guys. These two logically would pressure each other, but you can never really over-anticipate that, because if either one of them does what's predictable, the other one can vary his game.
If Weichel's going to win, what's he have to do?
I like Weichel on top, but man, that's tough too, man. Emanuel Sanchez trying to get on top of that guy is tough. But elbows in tight, pressure him against the fence, try to grind him, try to wear him down. Difficult assignment. But if you can get on top of him, start to beat him up a little bit, force him to get up, take him back down. Get up, take him back down. But very difficult assignment.
Well, the King of the Hill, he fights that night. And that's our champ, Petruchio Pitbull. He goes against Pedro Carvalho. Let's talk about Petruchio because, look, when he fought Juan Archuleta, who we thought was a freight train, and I think at that time we said, man, he's just going to wear Pitbull out. And it was the other way around.
Yeah, that was a sick fight, man. You think about how he won that fight. Strategy is the art of war. Tactics is the art of combat. Juan Archuleta tried to win with tactics. He was approaching the champ, trying to, mystify him and trick him and use tactics. Petruchio, his strategy was, you come to me. You come to me. We're going to stand right here. All the dancing and moving you want to do, that's great. But come to me, meet me in the middle. And Petruchio on that night, man, that was a special performance.
He was a bully that night. So shift gears in Carvalho.
So I like Pedro. I like the way that he's just a little crazy. Like, he's quite confident in what he does. And from the outside, we can look and say, a fighter is delusional if they think they can defeat a fighter this way. But in their mind, they can make that real. Because self-belief allows you to commit. Full commitment allows you to get what you're after.
That's going to be a great night. That comes your way. March 13th, Mohegan Sun. All right, folks, that's going to do it here from my man, Robin Black, the Insider's Insider. I'm Jay Glazer. Folks, remember, we got a great fight coming your way. Bellator 239, Ruth against Amasov. This has been Bellator MMA presents The Dose.